What's up, guys? Welcome back to Maths with Gaston. Now today let's have a look at question 6 as we continue with our past paper of 2023. It is trigonometry function. We are given that the graphs of f of x, which is given by tan x minus 1, and the graph of g of s given by negative half cos 2x are drawn from the period of negative 90 to 180. As we can see there, we can already see the line here. Negative 90 here is the line of asymptote, and also 90 here is the line of asymptote. All right, so 6.1 says there, write down the period of g. G is given by that. You would remember that generally if you have got a cos bx, this one affects the period, and then the period is going to be given by 360 all over b. So in this case, b is equal to 2, so therefore it's going to be 360 divided by 2, which is equals to 180. Right, so or you can look at it graphically. What you do, you check how long does it take for your function to reach a full revolution. So if you take this half here, if you take this half of a wave and then the other half of a wave up until here, this completes one period. So it completes a full revolution there. So therefore it means that the period is therefore 180, or you can calculate it numerically like this. All right, 6.2. I have to state that, guys, if you stick to the basics, it's very rare for you to get these questions wrong. Provided that you have practiced a lot and you do a lot of these questions, it will very rare for you to get them wrong, because you just have to stick to the basics because they've already drawn for you. All right, let's see 6.2 said determine the range of g of x. G of x, we know that that is tan, so they want us to determine the range of g of x. So range refers to what? Range refers to the y values. So we are gonna go ahead and look at this function here, which is negative half cos 2x. We know that this will affect the range. As you can see there, here's the graph of g is passing there, which is positive half, and then here at 90 is going to be negative half. So it doesn't go anywhere further than that. So it means we can state that y is the element of what we can say it's when anything that is greater than, so it's going to be negative half greater or equal to x, or less or equal to half. Or what you can do, you can also write it like this. You can say y is the element of, start with a small number, and then the square bracket means that it's included, to positive half. Either of the two, they are correct, guys. You can write either of them. Just use the one that you are comfortable with, or the one that you understand. All right, 6.3 rather. 6.3 said they use the graph to determine graphically the values of x. These ones, guys, they bring them a lot. They are there in parabola, they are there in hyperbola, they are there in other functions of paper 1. So if you understood them there, you should be able to understand them here, but I will try to explain them here as well. Right, so we're saying f of x should be greater or equal to 0. So basically, what are you looking for? You are looking for the instances on the graph where this graph is above the x-axis. All right, so f of x is what? Is the tan function. So let's look at it here. The tan function is below, but starting from here, the tan function is now above the x-axis all the way, but however it doesn't touch here because it's the line of asymptote at 90. Other than that, the rest of the function is below. So how are we going to state this? We are going to say, okay, we are looking for instances where x is greater than 45, greater or equal to 45 degrees. However, it should be less than 90 degrees. Please take note there, I didn't say less or equal to, because this is the line of asymptotes. The graph does not touch this line, whatever happens. So don't say equal to here, say less. Or you can write it together as x greater than 45 degrees or s less than 90 degrees. Okay, so that's how you're gonna deal with that part. If they said less than, you are going to look for the instances where it's below, which is this part here and also this part here. Okay, here it is below the x-axis. All right, so 6.3.2 6.3.2 that said look for the values of x where when you multiply the graph of x with the graph of g, you get a positive number. This is what it means, guys. If you are able to read it out when you're looking at it graphically, then at least you are one step. So understand what this means. You need to understand what this means. It means when you multiply the graph of f of x using the x values with that of the g of x, you need to get a positive answer. So this refers to the instances where you have a positive there and a positive number here, then your answer will be positive. Or instances where you have a negative here multiplied by a negative number, then you're gonna get a positive. All right, guys, so let's go to the graph and look at those instances where you have got these negatives and positives as well. All right, so if we look at the first x value here, which is negative 90, going that side, guys, we're reading it from here to going there. So if you have a look at 45, yes, 45 here. Okay, at 45 degrees, you do have g of x at negative. It's negative here, is below the x-axis. Guys, I need to state anything above x-axis is positive, anything below, if your graph is below the x-axis, it is considered as being negative. So even here at 45, you see f of x is also negative here. Right, so we already know this part is correct. And then here you see the other one is positive, other one is negative, therefore it's not. And then when you come to 0, the other one is positive, the other one is negative, so this won't work. When you come to 45 here, 45, you will see that the other one, this is point of intersection, so both of them, they are 0 basically. So but we are looking for something greater than 0. Okay, so here the other one is positive, the other one is negative, so it won't work. At 90 degrees, what do you have? 90 degrees starting from here is a line of asymptotes. Here we have got a negative there up until this point. Therefore it means on this line here at 135, these graphs, both of them, they are in a negative. There you go. So that's negative in this part. So how are we going to illustrate this? We are going to come here and say, starting from this value, we're going to say for the values where x is greater than 90 degrees, however needs to be less than, so negative 90, sorry about that, negative 90 degrees. And then here for where x is less than negative 45 degrees. So you are referring to this part right here, or you can rewrite this as x greater than negative 90 degrees and then or less than negative 45 degrees. Okay, there's a reason why I write it like this, guys, at first, then I can do it like that, or even if you can just write it like this, it will still be fine, right? So therefore now we've got another point here where x is greater than 90 degrees, x greater than 90 degrees, but x less than 135 degrees. Okay, so therefore you can also rewrite it like this, x greater than 90 degrees or x less than 135 degrees. Great stuff. All right, okay, so now let's move on to 6.3.3. All right, guys, if you don't understand, please let me know, because I know most learners, they struggle with this part basically right here. But please just know that if a graph is above the x-axis, is considered as being positive, and if it's below the x-axis, is considered as being negative. So I give an example earlier on paper 1 on probability. I said that you can say it's above the ocean or below the ocean. We consider the x-axis as the ocean. All right. Okay, just a simple way so that we can be able to get it right. All right, so let's move on to 6.3.3. 6.3.3, they try to trick us here, but it's all cool. We can see they're trying to ask us, the examiner here went an extra mile to try to hide this from us. Okay, so but if you see, guys, we have got a tan here. One of our functions is written in tan, which is f of x. The other one is g of x here, and it's got a cos in it. So the best thing that you can do is to simplify this whole thing. We can start by dividing by 2 so that we go back to the original function that is familiar to us on this question. We're going to be left with tan x plus cos 2x. This one will give us a half here, because we divided by 2 is equal to 1. So what you can do now, we can take 1 to this side and then take cos to this side. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to go back to these functions that are given here initially. So what I will do, we'll take tan x, then take this one to the other side. It's going to give us negative 1 is equals to take the whole of cos that side. It's going to give us negative half over cos, negative half cos 2x. Voila. So basically the examiner could have just said to us that you are looking for the instances where f of x is equal to g of x. Wow, what a way to ask it, eh? So you're gonna get marks for simplifying first, and to be able to identify that they're actually looking for the intersection between the two graphs. So we just need to go to our function and look for this intersection. Intersection is exactly right here at 45 degrees. Therefore, you can just come here and say the value of x where these two graphs are equal is at 45 degrees. Okay, great stuff, guys. So now that's it. Let's move on. If you got a comment or you don't understand, if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe. If you like this video, give it a huge thumbs up so that it can be recommended to other learners as well, or you can share it with your classmate. Just share the link, guys, and I'll really appreciate that. All right, let's move on to 6.4. Okay, here we are, 6.4. 6.4, it says that if h of x is given by sine x plus cos x all over cos, describe the vertical translation of h from f. So this is from f. So let's come here, 6.4. 6.4. So basically we need to describe what happened for f of x to become h of x. Okay, all right, f of x, it was tan. So let's see cos. So what we can do here, let's try to simplify this. This is sine all over cos x, therefore plus cos x all over cos x. So what we can do here, sine over cos is going to give us tan x, and therefore cos over cos will give us 1. Therefore this is what h of x. So what happened? So let's see, f of x was initially like this, minus 1. So what happened for it to move from minus 1 to become plus 1? So basically I think we added 2 there. So if you say minus 1 plus 2, you get a 1. So that's what happened. So it means, I said we need to describe it. So our answer, it means f of x, was, or f of x was moved upwards by 2 units. And that's it. You get your marks. All right, great stuff. So let's move on. 6.5. 6.5, it says here p of x is equals to 4 times g of x. And then they said we need to describe the maximum value. All right, so initially, remember the maximum value here, initially it was a half. So it means something happened there. They are multiplying it with 4. G of x, we're going to put g of x here, negative half cos 2x, close bracket there. When you multiply this by negative half, is going to give us negative 2 cos 2x. So that's the new value of p of x. So our maximum value initially it was a half. So even here we've got a negative 2 there. So it means our max value would have to be 2. Max value is 2. Alright guys, and that's how you would deal with a question like this one. Simple, easy, straightforward. If you don't understand, please let me know on the comment section below. I would therefore also send you a link to where I have got a lesson that is dealing with trig functions and how to deal with them. That lesson would help you to really understand it, and then you can come back and watch this video. If you don't understand, please leave a comment. I will take you send you a link to that lesson. I am Gaston Mapala. Let me see you on the next one where we will be doing question 7.